Welcome to the WTF Podcast. My name is Molly Smith, and I am on a mission to equip 1 million people with the tools to recognize when they're in the funk, but more importantly, how to pivot out of it. By tuning in today, you've joined me on this mission, and I'm so grateful that you are here. Guys, today's guest knows what it's like to have the career, the title, and the success, yet still feel completely out of alignment. For years, Sabrina did everything she thought she was supposed to do until the weight of that version of success became too heavy to carry. That season of funk became a turning point for her, and what she discovered on the other side completely changed her life. Now she's helping others find the same freedom, guiding them to reconnect with their truth, trust their intuition, and create lives that feel aligned from the inside out. Please join me in welcoming Sabrina Del Duca to the WTF Podcast. Hey, Sabrina.
Hey, Molly. Wow. Thank you for that intro.
There's so much. Yes, I can't wait to tell this story because I think it's so very relatable. So let's start with your career. Tell us a little bit about your corporate career, what you did, what that was like.
Yeah. I will start by saying that my corporate career was amazing. All right. So never once did I question, is this the path that I want to go into? I think I was around 25 and my background is dance as well. So I was managing a dance studio, but I did go to school in communications. I graduated from university in communications. And so there was something within me that was like, I need to try, like, what can I do with this communications major? Like, what can I do with this? Like, besides like speak with everyone that I meet so eloquently, but what can I do with this communications major? And part of me always loved advertising. I was always intrigued, and I remember there was a show on TV at the time that went like behind the scenes of advertising and like
Cool.
how it's made, but also how does it like what is the ethics of it? What is the moral of it? But also like how do we connect with people? And I was like, this is cool. I want to do this. So I actually reached out to a friend who was in advertising and she was like, come on in. So she brought
Awesome.
me into her agency and I stayed in that industry for 10 years. I climbed the corporate ladder. I was working with amazing clients. I'm very much a girly girl. So when they handed me a big beauty brand as a client, I was like, oh my God, I made it. Mama, I made it.
That's so great.
That was my first client. I'm like, how can I
Sure.
not say no to this amazing opportunity? I
Right.
already know all the products and now I get to advertise and like work with them and then get the products too, because that was exciting, right?
Totally.
Getting all the products. And so I worked in this industry with some of the biggest brands. I switched agencies at one point to be more into a creative agency because I love just exploring that creativity. And so when I talk about it, like it was amazing, right? I got to travel. My clients were in New York. I live in Montreal. So it's like going to New York on a monthly, sometimes twice a month basis, pitching and doing presentations and working with teams and like organizing and managing. Like it really brought out all of my skills and I really felt like I was exactly where I was meant to be. It was such a cool job. The people were amazing. But there was a downside, which is just the hustle of the advertising industry itself, right?
Yeah.
So everything was due yesterday for less money than they had, or like they wanted to pay less for what it was worth. And so there was a lot of conflict. And I was in a position as the account director that I was kind of the middleman. So I had to make sure that I was pleasing the client, I was pleasing the agency, everybody was happy, everybody had enough time to work with enough
Right.
money within budget, the times were respected. So I realized that I was a professional people pleaser. That was my role, which fit because I was a people pleaser and now we're
Sure.
recovering from that. But I was a professional people pleaser. And I'm saying it like this because at one point it took a toll. At one point, I got to this moment in my career where I was like, this can't be it. This can't be how I'm going to live the rest of my life. Because I was 35 and I was like, I'm young still. And I was taught that you pick a career early and you stay in it until you retire. Right.
Right.
So I'm
Me
thinking
too.
with that same mentality, right? Of like, okay, well, this is my career. This is what it's going to be like for life. And let me explain the downside, the stress, the overtime, the arguments, the lack of recognition, right? The lack of value and I was just a number and I had to just perform. And all of this disconnected me from who I truly was. And I felt like I no longer had a purpose. So with that came a lot of guilt, came a lot of questioning, like, well, who am I to even feel this way? Because this is an amazing job and I worked hard to get here. I got all the promotions, I did all the right things, I got the salary. Like, this is what everybody wants. And so why am I not happy?
Yeah.
And so that guilt was eating away at me to the point where I was like, oh my goodness, like this can't be what the rest of my life will look like. And that pivotal moment that I know we spoke about, Molly, and that's really what sent me on this journey of questioning, like, I really need to make a change. Every morning I would wake up and the first thought I had was, how can I get out of work today? How can I call in sick? And that's
Yeah.
not a way to live.
That is not, yes, that's not what we're designed to do and how we're supposed to
No.
live our lives, right? Okay, so it's 10 years into your career. How long of a period of time did you have this kind of discontent? Like, seriously, like I worked my ass off and I've achieved all the things that I thought I would achieve, and this isn't it. How long did you live in that space? Because that truly is the funk right there.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
would say a good 2 years.
Okay.
I thought it was a year. And I was speaking with one of my former bosses, and he was like, nah, babe, you were there for 2 years.
2 years.
Like,
2
we
years.
noticed that like the last 2 years, you were not yourself.
Yeah.
And that's scary too. Like, I thought it was just in my head. I thought it was just me, but like the people around me were noticing and they were like,
Well,
what's
your
wrong?
energy shifts when you
Oh,
have that
yeah.
level of discontent. Now, I have a little bit of a similar story from in my corporate background as well. And how you show up every day completely shifts when you have that deep level of discontent. Were you aware that it impacted how you were showing up day to day?
I was not until it got really bad
Yes.
that people started telling me, like, are you okay? Or, example,
Yeah.
I'm a very bubbly person. And so every morning I would walk into work when I was happy. I would walk into work, good morning, everyone. Hey. And like there was this kind of upbeat, very light energy about me.
Yes.
Whereas in the last 2 years, I would walk in the side door to avoid everybody to go into my office and close the door. So there we go.
Yeah.
And then I only spoke to people if I absolutely needed to. And even then, they said I was intimidating. And I've never been called that in my entire life. I was
That's
like,
so
"Yeah,
fascinating.
intimidating." But
Yeah.
it was my energy that was just so shut down and closed that like nobody wanted to approach me. Nobody wanted to even talk to me.
What else
Yeah.
was going on in your life, or can you look back and see, like, how did it impact how you engaged or did it with your friends and your family and what you did outside of work?
That is a great question because thinking back, I was trying to have fun. I was still going for dinners with my friends, still going out,
Yeah.
but there was this memory of me being out with a group of friends and we're all sitting around a table and everyone's laughing and I am just numb. I'm almost like out of body experience looking at
Yeah.
myself and looking at the situation and reflecting on that. That scared me as well because I was totally disconnected. And that word's going to come up a lot because it definitely contributed to my burnout. But that disconnect of just, first of all, me being not present in the moment, but not being even able to engage in conversation or have fun or crack jokes. Like there were in that time, and it took a long time after too for me to get back to myself. But there was this period of time where I was even questioning, like, am I fun to be around? Like, can I joke around with people? Can I be silly? Because I don't feel like I can. And I used to be able to. And
Right.
so that shift in identity as well, like, oh my goodness, so much was going on. My parents tell me now after the fact, like, oh my goodness, like you were really difficult to communicate with then because you would like shut us down or you would be very short with us. I'm like, I
Sorry.
didn't mean to, didn't realize.
No, well, and a lot of that is it's coping mechanisms, it's
Absolutely.
self-protection, it's like I liken those seasons, like I've had those, to having too many tabs open in the browser, and it's like you can't make sense of things, and so you're literally just you're like in survival mode, just trying to get through the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
irritable and snapping and anxious and stressed.
All the things.
You could take all the vacations in the world, nothing's working because it really is just like it's deeper than that.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
tell me about how did it come to a head? How did it come to a head?
I'm trying to think of the exact moment. Oh, yes. Okay. So I was doing all the things externally I thought I had to do to heal from this experience, not realizing that the major work was internal. It was all inner work. But all the external things, like I was for help, asking for coordinators to help me out because I was often alone on my projects and I had a lot on my plate. So I was feeling this way and I was just kind of writing it off as I'm too busy or I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I'm overworked. I just need help. I need a team to help me.
Yeah.
I just need to go on vacation. I just need to take 2 weeks off, right? So the first thing I did, I kept asking for help, and for a good 6 months to a year, the help never came, and then when help did come, it came in the form of a boss above me. And for me, I was like, "What do you mean? Like, you're gonna hire someone above me, which means that I can't move up." And then came the feeling of a lack of validation or lack of recognition
Oh,
that
yes.
further perpetuates this cycle of me feeling disconnected or feeling like, well, am I even supposed to be here? And that person was coming in and she was trying to help me because she saw that I was already like out of it. So she recognized the symptoms of the burnout, which I didn't
Mhm.
even know at the time was that. She advised go on vacation, take 2 weeks off, come back and see how you feel. In my mind, I was like, I'm gonna take time off work, like I'll go on sick leave, whatever. But she's like, start with the vacation. So
Yeah.
went on vacation 2 full weeks, and I've never done that in my entire career, by the way, taken 2
Yeah.
weeks back to back because too busy. So we take 1 week here, 1 week there. So even just that. So anyone listening,
Yes.
take your 2 weeks, take the time.
Yes.
Please take it
Absolutely.
for yourself. So I
Yeah.
took these 2 weeks. It was amazing. Went on vacation, came back, first day back, happy to see everybody. Hey, everyone, like my spirits are lifted. And then I had a few meetings and immediately back in the slump. And so
Oh,
that's when I say that it's not an external band-aid that's going to fix this. It's really the inner work. And then
yeah.
came conversations, hard conversations I had to have with my boss, told him exactly how I felt. And luckily, in my situation, he had experienced this for himself. So he recognized it. And he actually gave me the best gift I could have asked for, which was the permission to start thinking of what else I could do.
Yeah.
And,
So he wasn't
someone listening
forcing
could
you
be like,
out. He wasn't trying to force you out.
no,
He was, yeah.
he
Okay.
was just helping me reflect on, is this really what you want to do? And it's okay if you don't. Because obviously for him too, it's in his best interest. If I'm not myself and I'm not performing, well, it's bad for the company as well. But I had been there for 7 years at that point in that particular agency, grown with the agency that, he was trying to encourage me to just find what I loved. Having experienced that for himself, that's how he started the agency, right? Saying that, look, like maybe you've just outgrown this chapter and that's okay. You just need to find what works for you. They all knew that I loved dance. They were encouraging me to go back to dancing because they're like, that's where we see you shine and you really come to life. And like, maybe that's your next chapter and that's okay. Like, they really helped me to understand that I had options. And that's
Yes.
something I would have never looked at for myself. Because again, we're back in the mindset of choose a career and stick with it until you retire. And
That's what
parents are
society teaches, right? That's we say,
exactly.
go to school, get a job, work for 40 years, retire, and then you get to do whatever you want. It's so false.
Yeah.
It's so
Weird.
false. Okay, so how long after you had that conversation did you make your next move?
I felt like it happened really quickly.
Okay.
Because, we had that conversation. I think it was a matter of a week or 2 where I
Mhm.
was like, "Okay, this is what I need to do," as in I need to leave. And they made it very easy for me to do that, very, generous, right? So even I felt even more supported because I'm like, "Okay, well, I can actually take the time to heal now, and I'm leaving on a good note." Like, I'm not leaving and burning bridges and
Right.
whatnot, because I definitely believe in, like, making sure you keep all of your contacts. And then I think I gave them a month notice. So I remember vacation happened beginning of February. By the end of February, I had made my decision that I was leaving end of March.
Got it. Okay.
So it was like it all kind of happened because it needed to. It needed to because I
Yeah.
was at a point where I was like, something needs to change, something needs to be done. I don't know what that next chapter looks like. And that's the scary part that I know a lot of people are going to be like, what do you mean? But honestly, Molly, let me tell you, when I think about the state I was in, the minute I made my decision, there was an immediate relief. There was
Oh,
a feeling of like, oh my goodness, I could breathe. I
yes.
don't know what's
Yeah.
coming next, but I know that it's going to be okay, and trust that it's all going to work out.
Yes, that inner knowing, that clear cognizance, like inner deep knowing, it's like there's so much unknown, but you know that the decision that you are making
Oh,
is what you need to be doing. So that's amazing. Okay, so you give notice, you don't go out and find another job. You're fit, loose, and fancy free. What is that like? Because you've worked for what, 10 years, worked your tail off, right? And
yeah,
now you're like, I've got nothing but time. So what was that like?
weird, strange, unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was at the time working with a woman who was very much into meditation and she had her own company. So I kind of like hopped onto her bandwagon. I will say
Great.
a little too quickly because I could have taken that time to really just be still and not do anything. But I think in the nature of needing to do something, it was more of the transition that helped me to
Sure.
actually move forward.
Yeah.
So she was planning a trip to Miami and she's like, come with me. And I was like, I can. So I went with her to Miami to do a retreat and a little workshop there. And I was like, cool. And then realizing that that's the kind of work that I want to be doing as well. So kind of just like
Okay.
exploring a little bit that world, healing, meditation, inner work, and that kind of stuff. And then I came back. I told myself, take the summer to really just heal because summers in Montreal are amazing. So it's like, take the summer, heal, don't make any decisions, don't be forced. Just like take the time to really just be. Like,
Yeah.
when's the last time that happened? When's the last time I could actually take time to myself?
Yeah.
Right? So there was that excitement of it of like, without the 2-week vacation or like how can I take this extended leave and
Yeah.
just then figure out my next step? So that was the good part of it.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Okay, so this summer of 2019, so what did you do in the fall? Did you start looking for a job or you realized corporate wasn't it anymore?
I realized corporate wasn't it. I did take a contract with one of my former clients who wanted
Oh,
some branding work. And so I was like, okay, maybe let's explore this like freestyle contract
yeah.
business. They were great, but it wasn't for me. And
Okay.
so that too, at least I tried it and I'm like, okay, we're going to move away from corporate in
Yeah.
this capacity.
Yeah.
Fall was coming again, not sure what I wanted to do, but knew that I just wanted to help people. Another part that I will mention is that what happened towards the end of my advertising career is I felt that the work I was doing wasn't fulfilling enough for me. So it
Okay.
was fulfilling to a certain point, and then it became different. And that just meant that I had changed and I had evolved, and I just needed to find now what is it that fulfills me in this new
Yes.
chapter. Right. So,
Love
and
it.
it took me a while to get to that because it was blaming, like, why don't I feel good about this anymore? What's wrong with me? And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people can relate. So
Yeah.
it's
Self-judgment, that critical voice, right?
Or like,
Yeah.
yeah, really, like, why can't I make this work anymore? And anywho, moving on from that, it was like, okay, what will fulfill me? And then I thought of my first career as a dance teacher. And I was like, well, I love teaching dance. And I love just like seeing how confident the students are and helping them achieve their goals. Let's maybe try to go back to dancing. And so I'm gonna tell you, so organically, synchronistic, like all of the things, like the stars aligned, and I was offered a job that I am still teaching now in a high school for dancers. And so I
Yes.
started with that, and I was like, okay, let's get back to teaching. Went to a few of my friends that have dance studios, started teaching. So at least I felt I was doing something, but not just anything. Like, I didn't just wanna go get a
Right.
part-time job anywhere. Like, I wanted to, again, be intentional and feel fulfilled, so I got back to teaching dance in all the ways that I could. And then that gave me space as well to be able to see, like, okay, what else can I be doing with this? Like, what's bigger than teaching or what could complement teaching? And that's where I discovered coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
and then there was time because the world shut down. And so I had the time in 2020,
Yeah.
right? So no dance studios. We had to go online. So navigating the online world, which comes in handy now,
100%.
and then having access to all of these courses that opened up online and all of this learning that I could do. And the first thing I did is I just learned things that I was interested in: psychology classes, behavioral, cognitive therapy, like all of these things that I was like, this is cool. Let's learn about it. And eventually that then led me on the path of coach.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so today you're coaching women who have or been in the same funk that you've been in,
Yeah.
and you're also dancing.
Yes.
That is amazing. And of course, the fulfillment meter is like off the charts, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, well, looking back, what would you say that the burnout that you were
Mhm.
experiencing, especially in those last 2 years, what was that trying to teach you?
To not abandon myself, because I wasn't listening to the subtle signs. I think there were subtle signs along the way, and I was just so disconnected from my inner voice and my inner knowing, and just so focused on the plan that I was just kind of powering through. And burnout needed to happen to teach me that there could be more, that I needed to
Yes.
listen to myself, that it's okay to change your mind, to want something different, to try something new,
Yeah.
to do something that maybe will scare you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love that.
that's
Okay, for the listener who might feel trapped in a job and doesn't think they can like walk away, what is the next best step you would share with them that they could take right now?
I think it would be to do a little bit of that inner work to really start getting curious about what it is that doesn't feel right anymore about that job. What is it that has shifted within you? And maybe then see, like, is there something external that can be shifted that can help you to keep going? You know, with the clients I work with, the first choice is never quit your job. Even though that's what I did, that is never the first thing I will say,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
obviously everybody is different, but it's more like inquire, get curious. What are the other options? Like, is there something that can be done in the office space? Is there a lack of communication? Do you have a lack of boundaries? Do we need to set some boundaries to help you
Right.
to just still be working there, but do so in a more peaceful way or in a way
Yeah.
that feels more aligned to you. So there are
Yes.
definitely many steps that I would recommend to take before taking the leap. And having tried all those steps and then still feeling that way, then maybe have a conversation of like, okay, what would it feel like or look like if
Yeah.
I left the job?
Yeah. I love that. So when you're working with your clients and they're trying to dial into this kind of inner dialogue and trying to get a sense for, I call them intuitive hits, divine downloads. Now I'm always like, I'm open and looking for them. But there was a time, and I think for you too, where you just weren't tuned into that frequency. You couldn't get that
Yeah.
download. So if
Yeah.
there's somebody who's like, I don't know, but I know that I don't love what I have, like, is there a practice that you would recommend just to help them try to build that awareness muscle of getting curious?
Great question. There's so much power in stillness, in silence, in
Yeah.
just observing. Right? So our brain is quick to come in and hot with judgments, with solutions, with all the things, right?
That's
And it
yes.
takes over and runs the show.
Yeah.
But call it meditation if you wish, but it's really the practice of being still and being present. And if it's just allowing yourself to close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths and just feel your senses and absorb what's around you, I think that is a great start to then
Yeah.
start reconnecting to yourself to be able to be open, like you're mentioning. Because
Yeah.
when you're disconnected, you're closed. There's so many
Yeah.
opportunities everywhere you look, but if you're disconnected, you will not see them.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I'll tell you that the place where I get the most clarity is when I'm driving in traffic
Mhm.
and I don't have a podcast on, I don't have music on. I've got maybe like a subliminal track playing, but it's like instrumental or whatever. But like once my brain can file away or close all of the open tabs of things where my brain just goes, and I just kind of settle and I'm focusing on the road, I get so many divine downloads. I get so much awareness there. And it's kind of like a trick. You got to keep the conscious mind focused on something so that the subconscious and the things and being open to those downloads can come through. So, okay, so if you're listening and you're like, I don't know what to do, but I know that I don't like where I'm at right now, getting still, getting grounded in the body and the breath,
Mhm.
doing even a meditation. Like I use Insight Timer, which has
Yeah.
thousands of free meditations, but that works in terms of getting yourself to a place where you're still and you can be open and receptive to those divine downloads and intuitive hits. So
Yeah.
I love that.
So not only that, but what worked for me and was super fun too, finding ways to play. Things that you can do to reconnect to the joy in your life. Things that used to maybe bring you so much excitement that you've let go along the way. Like when you're in that state of play, of joy, of just let's have fun, so much of the guard that you have up gets let down. Yeah, just kinda crumbles away, and then you start to reconnect to that, like, inner child within you as well. So let that inner child out and play, whatever that means for you. For me, I went back to dancing for myself. I joined some friends at the arcades, the video games, we played games together. Like, it's really, like, getting back to what you would do as a child or just things that just take you out of being in your head and just bring you in the present moment.
Oh, yes, I love that. Oh my gosh. So many good tips and such an amazing story of, the typical corporate work, burnout, burning the candle at both ends and hitting that wall and making a different decision. God bless that boss who was so emotionally aware and it was like, it's okay. It's okay to step away. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. Okay.
Oh,
All
so
right,
good.
guys. If this episode resonated with you, please take a second to share it with a friend who might need this reminder and these tips as well. And please don't forget to follow, rate, and subscribe wherever you're listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.